Hello and welcome to another episode of Life Talks with Fawole. We have the voice behind the camera, we have the wizard, and we have Corry in the studio. Nice to have you here, Corry.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been a long time coming. Thank you for coming, mate. It's been a long time coming.
Sorry, I've been so busy.
As
soon as I had that week block where I haven't been busy, I went, right, you're the first person I messaged to say I was free.
Yeah,
it's been in my mind, I've been going, Monday, need to be free on a Monday. Yeah, finally got there.
Come on, thank you. Yeah, I'm happy you're here, man. I'm happy you're here. We've been chopping up about a lot of things. Corry.
Yes.
What was the first conversation you and I had, do you think? Like, the first kind of conversation where you knew I was going to be a mate? Because I consider us being like, we're mates, I'm your friend. We don't see each other regularly, but the conversations we have, it's like, there's a depth to it. I like talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. I get really excited when I see you, and all the time I'm running into you.
Yeah.
Aren't I in a bookstore?
Yeah.
Going out clubbing.
Very random.
I get so excited. I go, that's Io, and I tell whoever I'm with, I go, right, we've got to go talk to him. I think when I watched you make steak.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Where was that?
I vividly remember that steak, and whenever I'm making steak, I remember watching you. Yeah, it was while we were shooting Craig's film.
Okay,
you were massaging the steak.
Yeah, come on.
With the seasoning.
Okay.
And I was watching you, I was like, okay. And then when you did it, and you were kind of talking to yourself as you did it, like you were a professional chef going, I don't know what I'm going to do now, so I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to do this. I don't even know if you saw me watching.
Wait. I am a professional chef.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Go on.
And you were grilling it in the butter, and you were just, I don't know if you were chatting to me, if you knew I was watching, but you were chatting to someone as you were doing it, and then you went, right, Corry, try this, and it was the best steak I've ever had.
Yeah.
And that's when I went, yeah, you're cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've got wisdom. I want to know how you made that steak.
Thank you. Wow, I like that. I didn't know, and I love food, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I'm a foodie as well. So that's the quickest way to someone's heart, right? Yeah.
And I think the first for me was when you started asking me about like relationship advice, because there's a disparity between our age. Like, so when we was having those conversations on set, in between takes, and you was actually asking me, and not just asking me, but kind of taking on board my advice and what I was saying and my wisdom, what I've seen, kind of thing. Because I'm a little bit older than you. How old are you again?
28.
So I'm a little bit older than you. Not much, but yeah.
I don't know. I'd say about 36, 37.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's
a compliment.
No idea though.
Shaving ears, I'm Benjamin Button, if that's me. But now 46, yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they say the face that, as you get older, you get the face you deserve. Have you heard that?
No. Wow.
When you're youthful, you have just a generic sort of like youthfulness. Yeah. But as you get older, you get the face you deserve. So someone who stresses all the time looks haggard. But someone who leads a good, peaceful, happy life looks youthful forever.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I like that. I like that. As you get older, you get the face. It makes sense as well.
So I got laughter lines here.
Yeah.
Because my smile's bigger.
Yeah. Make sure you always laugh.
But I'm getting lines here because I'm surprised often. So when people tell me something surprising, I go, So now I'm getting these lines up here.
So what was you like as a child?
What was I like as a child?
Like when you was, let's just say 5, 6. Do you remember those years?
Yeah, I know I was a functional child. I'd say, as in, didn't really have many tantrums. Everyone always said, "Oh, such a lovely young man or young boy, really well behaved." Our mum was a really good mum. So the three of us, me and my 2 brothers, just like whenever we were out in public, didn't make a scene, always held on to the pushchair because I remember that vividly because when I was about 6 I had a new baby brother, so our mum made sure that we were respectful to strangers, all of these different things. We get invited to all the parties with other friends because we were so well behaved. That, I think in hindsight, that sort of, it's interesting how if you're a functional child, it's sometimes harder to transition into becoming an adult. Just often why I had to ask you like advice around being like adulting basically. But I think the kids that are less, let's say, functional as kids when they're kids grow up a bit more streetwise because they've had to learn how to be an adult a lot younger. You see what I mean?
By kind of going outside the lines, like not conforming to what they was told, kind of thing.
Exactly, I totally conformed to what you had to do as a kid, which is good as a kid because it then means that you can socialise with other kids. And
safe for life.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, don't touch the fire, don't touch the fire. And the one that touches the fire gets burnt, they know the fire burns you, but they also know that they can actually take getting burnt, or I can't take getting burnt, so that's another life lesson for later on.
Exactly. Yeah. And then so just being a functional kid can make it hard because then you don't, you've learned not to speak up when you're a kid. Because you don't want to be rude, and then suddenly it makes you a bit of a wallflower. So that's not good. You need to have some confidence.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff I remember about being around 6.
Yeah.
And then when I just got to around 11, 12, I just got very chatty.
Yeah.
Just became a chatterbox.
Questions.
Still am a chatterbox. Questions. Nice, I was always chatting to the teachers for way too long. Come on, Corry, the class has ended. You got to get to the next class.
Yeah.
Just really curious, really chatty. Wanted to know everything. Heart on my sleeve. That's what I was like when I was around 11, 12. Because it's different people, really, isn't it?
Different stages.
Yeah. Around 6, you're one person. Then you're around 12, you're a different person. Yeah. Then you're a teenager and you're different. It's constantly different.
Different stages, yeah.
Because even primary school and secondary school has different structures to how people socialise as well.
Different obstacles that you have to get over. When you're 6 or whatever, it's just like want your ice cream or this or that.
Yeah, playing games.
Yeah. Prepubescence is another thing altogether. Like
exactly.
Yeah, new challenges. That you have to learn to overcome and stuff like that. Not big challenges, just life challenges, right? Like stress.
Anything new could be big to you, though. Really, isn't it? Like until you actually know you can conquer it, it's a mountain. When you realise it's just a molehill. When you're over it, you look back and you think, okay, I did that. I've done
you're
that.
Taller now.
You're taller
now because you can kind of see over that hill. That's how I see it.
So how did you said you wear your heart on your sleeve, and it's like you've got great energy. That's another thing. That inherent thing within inside you to listen and learn and to find things out, and the curiosity. I think that's another reason why we bonded, because although you was watching me take the steak and I was unaware of that, but I was cooking the food for like, as far as I was concerned, the family at that time, we was like a family at that time. So I was putting in the love, and everyone around me knows that's how I cook. But that inherent desire to learn stuff was like, when I was talking, you was listening, so it's all good. When someone talks and someone's listening, and it's like, it was a nice two-way street kind of thing. I think that's what kind of drew me to you as well, as like I was saying before. How did, when you was younger, wearing your heart on your sleeve, and wanting to have that knowledge a lot, how did that? Was there any times when it affected you? Because you said like the teacher would say to you like, "All right, that's enough, Corry, go away." How would that affect you, or did you ever get?
It was frustrating finding people when I was younger who were on the same wavelength. Who were, I remember a teacher saying to me that I was her favourite, and she said the reason why was because I say good morning to her and I say goodbye. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, the amount of people who just ignore me and don't realise I exist. Yeah. But all I did was just say good morning when I walked in the class, and then said, see you later, miss, because she was my tutor. And, have a nice day. Because that's just, because I just saw her as a human being, But it was harder to find people on that wavelength, because then people look at you as sort of like, they put you in a box of like, I don't know, like teacher's pet or something. Something like that. But really, but also I'm from a town called Weston-super-Mare, and in North Somerset. Okay. And not dissing it or anything, because they say you can take the boy out of Weston, but you can't take Weston out of the boy, and that's true. And everyone who's from my hometown, in the first 5 minutes I find out they're from Weston-super-Mare if I meet anyone from London, because we bloody talk about it all the time. People from Weston. But I had big dreams and aspirations. I've always had big dreams and aspirations. I wanted to be a film director, and
you've got to be a film director.
Yeah, and that's already started. I'm so far on my journey into. I have to get a film, like a feature film, to really be there, or get a TV series. I've directed some TV, but something for a longer period of time, more substantial. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I've wanted to do. That's what I've wanted to do my whole life. So finding people who had the same ambitions, I think that's the key thing. You know, having the same ambitions, wanting the same thing out of life, and seeing life the way that I saw it was, was difficult and was frustrating. Because you didn't really feel like you ever properly connected with someone. Like you and I listen to each other, and it's quite hard to talk about your dreams and aspirations with someone who's just waiting for their turn to talk about their dreams and aspirations. Yeah. So I was surrounded by that, and I could never really work out why no one was ever listening until I came to London and was surrounded by people who also have dreams and aspirations. But really tangible, not sort of like pie in the sky dreams, things that they actually want to action. So that's why you and I connected, and why I think we listen to each other, because we're both people that are driven. We want something out of life, and we connect with other people as well, because we know that it's part of the journey is the people you take with you. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. You're a very nice young man. Very nice young man. Very, very nice man. Very nice man. Very nice man.
It's not true of this.
There's loads of things popping through my head right now. I don't want to lose any of them. I want to go to the first thing and say that we also speak about film and stuff. We have the same interests, and when I'm a nerd when it comes to films. Do you know what I mean? I love film, whatever. You spoke about film, and that was another thing we linked upon. We talked about the most intricate parts about the film, like you and I may. Or I remember a scene. I say, boom, this, boom, that. So we linked on that as well. There was that. It was just I remember. We're gonna get into that. Coming from some Western Superman. And a small town in Somerset.
North Somerset.
That would have attributed to you being the functional child you was, because there was probably a lot of functional other children in the village. It was more village life kind of thing, and everyone knows each other. And you had a different kind of level of lifestyle. Now, would you have preferred to grow up in London, or are you happy with that kind of the thing? It's a funny question, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. It's kind of, for me to think about what could have been if I'd grown up in London, simply because I'm quite satisfied with the path that I'm on. So the stuff that I got from that experience led me here anyway. So I wouldn't take any of my life experience away. Sometimes I think I wish I'd gone to like a Sylvia Young's or something in London. I wish my parents could have afforded something like that. That would have been a great experience, because then I would have grown up around like-minded people. But I mean, it's not the end of the world.
No. How did you make the transition? Because I know who the man you are now, but how did you make the infiltration into the world you wanted to be in then from, say, 13, 14, because you didn't get the Sylvia Young or the opportunity?
So I remember vividly, and this has kind of defined my whole career really. I said to a friend at school that I wanted to be a film director, and he went, "Oh, I want to be a film director as well." And it really hurt me. It was really upsetting. And I said to my dad in the car ride home, I said to a student today, one of my friends, I wanted to be a film director. And he immediately, this is what I'm saying about pie in the sky, he immediately said, "Oh, I want to be that as well." And he said it so flippantly, but I wasn't as eloquent back then. He said it so like blasé, I probably said that, but he said it so flippantly that I recognised in myself the naivety of, I'm going to be a film director. I saw, and I said, "Am I delusional?" I said, am I as delusional as him? He said it so quickly. I knew instantly.
How old was you then?
I must have been 12, 13. And I knew instantly that he was just kind of saying it like, "Oh, I'd like to be a race car driver." And I thought, maybe I'm that naive.
Yeah, you thought he's to coin it. If he's just saying, "I want to go to the moon," I want to go to the moon.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And my dad said the difference is you're going to make it happen. He said you're going to spend all of your free time making that happen. Because I already was. I was reading filmmaking books, I was watching documentaries on filmmaking. I decided that's what I wanted to be, and I was already working towards making that happen, even at 12. So him saying that was a validation that, if you want something, you can't just say you want it. You actually have to try to get it. You actually got to take action. So from then, I was making short films with my friends on the weekend. And then showing those short films. There were events at the school, and I had a camera, and I volunteered to film them. And I'd make a little documentary. I'd interview all the teachers.
You told you
this was about 13, 14 now we're moving on to. And I would take those interviews, like for instance, I interviewed the head teacher, and he looked like Alan Sugar. So I put the Apprentice theme underneath his speech, played it in assembly. Everyone's killing themselves laughing because I'm making fun of the head teacher to his face, who sat across the room watching it, and everyone, even the teachers, are pissing themselves laughing. And it was that storytelling. It was that. It was that doing something outside of no one told me to do it. I just wanted to do it, and that was really amazing experience. And the big documentary I did for Channel 4, which I suppose we'll come to later. But the documentary I did for Channel 4, when I was talking to the person who I co-produced it with. He said, I've never made a documentary before. What do we do? And I said, don't worry, we do this and this.
Yeah.
I learned that from school. I learned what works and what doesn't work, and and how to interview people. I learned it just through doing it when I was 14, 15. So I'd had about 5, 6, 7 years experience doing it already. Yeah. So my dad's advice to actually go out and try and make it happen was spot on. Yeah. And that's what I always advise everyone, you just got to start doing it.
Just get onto it and make it
happen.
Now.
Like
now.
You guys are doing it. You guys are doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
I like that though. You just want me up, I think, as well. I've been trying to no, I'm serious. Like, it's just like now, like the actual.
It's always like tomorrow.
Yeah.
But no, now you can do it right now. You know, it could be as little as taking out your phone and writing down some ideas, and then coming back to it tomorrow to action those ideas. Yeah. But camera rolling and action. Action. You've got to. Action is to do something. You've got to actually start doing it.
Make it happen. If you want to see any results, you have to start doing something. Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely. At home, if you want to see any results, you have to start doing something. When do you start doing something? Now.
Yeah.
Now.
Now's the time.
Give me free. Buy your coffee. I need free. Like, put that.
Was that?
1, 2, 3. So we do that again. Come really fast. You have to do it now. Come on.
Yeah. Now is all there is. I mean, tomorrow's an idea.
Yeah.
Yesterday's a memory. I'm not quoting a song. It's just off the top of my head. Now is now. Now's the only physical thing that really exists right now. So now's the only time really to do something.
So the power is
now. I know actually. I'm aware of the ethos. I've thought about it before. There's other stuff out there, but like I'm saying, when someone says something, or you say something to me sometimes. Sometimes people talk to people. Sometimes you get it, or you've already got it beforehand, or you get it at a later time. Or it's like the penny kind of drops, or someone tells a joke and you get it now, like a couple of seconds later. But it's just like that now. It's so profound for me. Like now, if you're gonna do it now. Like wow, now. What's your influences of film when you was younger? What kind of films did you like? And being out there in Western Supermare, like what films was you exposed to? And because
my parents had excellent taste in films.
Yeah,
really great taste in films.
Yeah.
I watched Alien, and I remember I was too young to watch Alien. I'm probably about 10, 11.
Yeah.
I watched Pulp Fiction when I was about 10, 11 as well. So suddenly we got passion for it, and our dad he would skip certain scenes.
Okay.
But that was the start of it, and I suppose the exciting thing was my dad had a music room similar to this room, where it was a room set up as a studio, and he'd soundproofed all the walls, and he put a curtain over the door to block the sound. And he would listen to things in professional audio monitors, like the ones you've got there. And so when Dad would show us something, it would be really exciting because the volume would be turned up. So it was really immersive. Exactly. So seeing Pulp Fiction, Alien, I remember that vividly. Just really amazing films. I mean, Wallace and Gromit is an amazing film.
Yeah.
That's got the best chase sequence on camera.
Yeah.
Like really, do you remember the train sequence?
Yeah,
and he's building a train track as before the train crashes.
Yeah.
And I study that all the time and go that there's nothing that tops this. There's no Bond sequence that tops the Wallace and Gromit scene with the watch it.
I have to go back and watch it.
Go back
but
and
you
watch
listen to that in the sound and the surround sound kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to give you more as well.
Completely immersive.
Yeah.
Completely immersive. Could totally get lost in film.
Yeah.
So I can't think of anything else that I watched that I was too young for off the top of my head. Total Recall. Love that.
The
Have you
original
ever
one.
seen Total Recall?
The original, yeah.
Arnie.
I just got Arnie.
Oh, get from the house.
No, when he goes, he throws the head. He goes, was it the big surprise? I should say you were the big, like the head goes open. He throws.
Catch, and then are you ready for a big surprise?
Yeah.
Something like that, and it blows up. Yeah.
And the woman with 3 breasts.
And the woman with 3 breasts.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember that. Being a young man, I was like, it was a lot. Sorry, guys.
Prosthetic boobies, though, in hindsight.
Yeah, but I was like, wow. Because I don't know how old I was. I was young, innit?
I was like, wow.
That was like his face, yeah? Come on. But yeah, it was.
I was telling my friends, I remember at school, I must have been 10. I remember telling my friends at school at 10, they all talk about the things they'd seen. Like, I saw this dirty movie. I didn't have any point of reference other than the 3 boobies. I was like, it's 3 boobies. It's 2, normally it's 3. I remember that vividly.
Yeah.
All my friends were like, what? Trying to talk about erotic things they've seen, and I'm coming out with a wacky science fiction movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger going, God, what's it called? I don't know, but it's got 3 boobies in it.
Your childhood, it sounds amazing. Like, in a sense where, I'm going to ask you if there's any times, because you've got 2 brothers, where you might have had, like, the tussles with them, you know what I mean? Like, the exchange of power. But, I just want to say, when going to this, like, your mum and your dad, which they should do, sound like superheroes. Because your mum teaching you right etiquette, how to pay and everything, and the lessons your mum's teaching you are allowing you to socialise and go into other parties and do this and that and third. And then you got your father there, not only encouraging you and giving you the right kind of like nutrients to grow, but also turning up the volume and showing you this and that. So it just sounds, you want to talk about those, like your mum and your dad for me?
Yeah. I mean, my dad once said that, like moving to London, I got to see them less, and then coming back, they kind of see a new person because I'd spent so long. Because I'd lived with them. I lived with them, and then I just moved to London. So when I came back, they'd see me as a different person.
When did you move to London?
I moved to London when I was 21. A few days before my birthday. I can't remember if it was my 21st birthday or my 22nd birthday, but I moved in October. So that was about seven years ago. And first time I'd ever lived away from home, and went there to pursue my dream. And when I came back...
Come here. When you're here now.
Oh yeah. I came here now.
Now. Oh, I'm telling you.
I came straight here to this podcast. I've been a couple of hours away from home.
Every time he goes back, he's changed, man.
But my dad said, he said you're a good amalgam of amalgam, is that a word? You're a good amalgamation of my mum and my dad. He said you've got the best bits of all of us. So how I see that is my mum is very, very funny, and she would have been a really good actress, and she was a very good storyteller as well. She would come up with stories for us to play. So I've got that. And a good sense of humour. My mum's got a really great sense of humour. And then my dad's really driven and ambitious and motivated, and also quite in love with his work. So to spend hours, very passionate. Yeah, very, very passionate. So I've got all of those bits. And yeah, I mean they're a power couple together, because they complete each other quite well.
Oh,
so
it's nice, mate.
Yeah, it's really nice, really nice. Yeah. They're still together now. And when I come back home and see them, my 2 brothers, because of the pandemic, have been living at home with them as well. So there was a period where I'd come back and see them, it'd just be the two of them. Now I come back and it's the whole family back together again.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it was really great.
When do you mean the whole family back together?
So that's my two brothers, mum and dad, and my me in there, the cat, and
What's cat's
love cat.
Cat's name's Cat. Oh man.
Cat's called Cat. Yeah.
Cat.
He was already an adult cat that adopted us.
Okay.
He moved in. He just moved in. He just went right. I want to live with you
Do you
guys.
remember that John Wayne
Cat.
film? That the guy he goes, the dog's just called Dog.
No, I
There's a
don't
John
know
Wayne
that film.
film, and the dog is called Dog, and but everything's Dog. So he wants to set the dog or something like Dog. In different tones, like Dog, and the dog just responds to the word dog because they can't be cowboys just so like they don't really say much.
Yeah,
a few
yeah.
words.
I would call my dog dog. Dog, cat, fish.
Where did you get your ears from? Whose ears do you have? Your mum's or your
I think my mum's ears stick out, but she's got long hair, so she would say that no one would ever notice because her hair's long.
Yeah.
So no one would ever notice. But my ears from birth have always stuck out.
Yeah.
And the midwife came over to my mum, apparently. The story is the midwife came over to my mum and said, "Oh, he looks like a little monkey, doesn't he?" And my mum got really upset and told her to piss off. So from birth, being teased about it.
Serious, yeah. You said to me that you wanted to. You're not. Well, you go and explain what you're going to do. I don't think.
I'm going to get them pinned back.
Yeah.
I'm going to get them pinned back when I can. I've done 28 years of having them out.
Yeah.
Time for another 28 years of having them in.
I wouldn't have noticed nothing.
If I never said nothing.
Yeah.
I don't think they said anything, but personally, I've got the feature, but everyone's individual, but they make it look good.
Oh, okay, thank you.
It's crazy that your dad was into sound, and you were born with it's like almost like your ears are slightly evolved.
Wow, I like
You
that.
think?
Yeah.
Well, I was like to my dad, I was like, does this mean I've got a bit of a superpower? And he's like, no, not really. Does this mean I can hear better than anyone else? My girlfriend will say, you've got big ears, listen. You know, when I haven't done something, take out the bins. I told you earlier, you've got big enough ears, you should be using them. But in seriousness, because of listening to music and being around music and recording drums especially, I've got tinnitus in my ears, and when they measured them, I've literally on, I think my left ear, they scanned like the frequencies I can hear, and the guy showed me the chart, and on my right ear it just goes steady up, and then on my left it drops here and then goes back up. There's a whole mid frequency that I can't hear on my left.
You said because you've been recording drums, and what did you call the condition? Tinnitus.
Tinnitus, yeah.
Tinnitus.
So my ears will ring sometimes. Yeah.
When you say recording drums, is that because you work in sound, or was that something
that's
a personal thing?
That's because my dad ran a music course, and that's how I got into filmmaking. Because my dad had camera gear because he would film the students because they would do evaluations.
Okay.
So the way all my life, yeah. Okay. And my dad played at Glastonbury. Festival.
What's your dad's name?
Paul Raymond.
Paul Raymond.
Not the famous Paul Raymond though. That's the Soho King Paul Raymond.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paul Raymond.
Big up Paul Raymond.
Yeah.
Come on. He's not famous Paul Raymond. Come on.
He's famous at Western Superman.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Is there a band called that?
There must be because
Paul
Raymond's the Soho
What's the
King.
Superman?
Western Superman. Oh right, maybe.
I don't know.
It should be.
I mean, don't ask me.
I've heard that before. I heard it as a place.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what I'm trying to think of.
Western Superman, probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
What was the we're going to go back into the sound stuff because you said your brothers work in sound as well. I'm just like cheating right now. But what was the first? I know you said you enjoyed doing the whole Alan Sugar Apprentice thing and taking this out your teacher.
What
was the first film that you worked on and you was happy and you just like really felt like, okay, I've arrived? Like, and it's not to be kind of like arrogant and say you've done it, because I know the kind of person you are, but actually say like, okay, I'm on set now and I'm working. Like, 'cause I know big productions that I've been on, I think, okay, wow, whatever capacity, I'm thinking just wow, because I know now this is where I want to be. Do you know what I mean? What was the first time where you was like, this is?
I think the big major moment was it was an insight into seeing how I could do it, and it was I think this was actually literally the journey that this happened, and then I started making short films, which was so my dad's has always been quite ambitious with loads of ideas on the side. You know, he's a really creative person. So instead of just running a music course, that wasn't necessarily enough for him. So recorded albums, started a band, did the Glastonbury Festival, as I said, and then other things he did was he started a record label. And he had 2 or 3 really talented students, and he thought I could build a record label around them and make them really successful. So he got a few business partners, put some money together, and they started recording
That's
music.
It, bro.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was amazing.
It
was really on it. Yeah, really on it.
No.
And he hired someone to direct a music video for one of his artists, and he said, "Can my son come along and just be there and maybe shoot a behind the scenes video and take some pictures?" So they handed me a camera, and I was just floating around, and the whole video was shot on blue screen. And I was like, "How do you do that?" And the guy, really generous, was just like, "Yeah, cool, let me show you." Taught me how to do blue screen.
Yeah, you're being inquisitive.
Yeah, exactly, and just got so much insight, and they brought me back a few times to work on music videos, and that
Can
was.
I just ask you? So, what is blue screen? Can I know what green screen is?
Oh, blue screen. Same as green screen, but when they first started, they used blue.
Okay.
And then they realised blue's not a great colour, so they moved to green.
Okay.
Because people got blue eyes, so you'd always lose. So you go, you go look at the footage, you go, crap.
And majority of clothes as well.
Yeah, exactly. Denim, yeah, exactly. Blue's so popular colour that it didn't really work. So that's my understanding of it. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I experienced and what I saw in the mid 2000s with the crew that I was working with. That's what they experienced. So everyone seemed to move to green.
Okay.
Because no one really has green,
Yes, when you're keying out, because you got key out. When you put the green, you're gonna key the green out. And you're gonna put another background. So if you're keying, whatever colour you're gonna key out, if the person's wearing anything or
that colour,
or anything,
that's gonna go
as well.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's technical.
Yeah.
It's technical.
Yeah.
This is visuals now for cinematography, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Special effects.
So you're on the set learning special effects now. You just only been behind the scenes. How old was you?
Oh, I was 13.
Cool.
I was 13, I think. Yeah.
And that's when you started to realise your dream.
Yeah. It just made sense. It just made total sense. I went back to school and told everyone no one cared.
Fuck them,
I cared. It was a great experience.
You're the only one who has to care about your dream, though. You do know that.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, how was the roller coaster been since then? Because when I met you, you came in with a full sound kit of your own. You was actually on set as the sound man. You brought all your stuff to the tables. You brought almost like, for want of a better thing, the guy with the symbols and this pertaining to sound. You brought everything. Do you know what I mean?
I had all the sound and all the camera as well, because I did cinematography on that as well. I did everything, and that's what I do now.
The camera was yours as well.
Yeah, everything.
Okay, wow. See, I didn't even wow.
Yeah. We didn't hire anything. It was all my personal kit.
So what was the journey then from that 13-year-old boy who was on set learning about the blue screen? That's what I want to hear, because you've been on some major sets as well, haven't you, between the time, and just give me the story, Corey.
Yeah,
don't let me drag it out. You give me what I need, bro.
I'll give it you I'll try and make a long story short for you. So basically, in a nutshell.
No, don't rush though. I want to hear. Okay, if you make it.
I don't bore you.
No, if you make a long story short, fine. Take out all the stuff, but I want to hear the nice, the nitty gritty bits. I want to hear the funny bits.
Yeah. Okay.
You saw someone on the set, you had to hold your composure because you like them, but you're being professional. All of that. So don't cut those bits out. That's all I'm saying. So you can rush.
I can tell you some funny stories about being on set, as a kid, or just like people were hiring me to do behind the scenes. And because I'd done that behind the scenes music video, I got into a crowd of people, directors who wanted
that behind the scenes kind of thing.
Behind the scenes, and artists who wanted behind the scenes.
So you started getting paid for that,
yeah? Yeah, I was getting paid.
Nice.
Like good money, especially for my age, for 14.
Yeah.
Like £250 a go.
Oh.
And you do 4 of them, you got $1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like 15,
You're editing them as well?
Editing them, yeah, everything, composing a story together. And
nice.
I just remember
learning your craft.
Learning my craft, exactly. Yeah. And the story that I remember really funny was there was a music video being filmed of a dancers. And one of the dancers falls in love with the teacher, the dance teacher.
Okay.
I think that was what the drama was. Yeah, that was the drama. And the director is shouting to mirrored walls, right? And the director's shouting, "Cody, you're in the shot." Because I'm shooting, like, Cody.
It's called you Cody, your mug.
I'm like, whoever Cody is, he's in fucking trouble. It was me. It was someone went, "It's Corry." And he went, "Oh, Corry." I went, "Oh shit, I'm in the shot." It was Cody.
That's a lot.
Cody, fucking duck.
That's nice.
But so my journey. I mean, my parents have been so supportive. They I suppose the big landmark thing. So I've got a professional camera, like a really professional camera. Like
What camera is that? What I'm asking?
It's a Sony Z5. Which is, I mean, it's old tech now. It was a HDV camera. It's one of those little DV tapes. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
And
but that was back then, didn't it?
that was back then, yeah. So that was in the 2000s.
You know the cameras, yeah?
Yeah, I know.
These are good
They're really good cameras. They're like industry standard at the time.
CCDV, you know, there's
Yeah. So, what happened next? So I had access to that because my dad worked at the college and he borrowed the professional camera equipment from the school.
Okay.
So I was shooting on the film school students. Well, it wasn't film school. The film course students. Equipment, yeah. So I had access to all the top of the range stuff.
Yeah.
And then my dad said, "Oh, well, you're good at that. Instead of using iMovie to edit, why don't you use Final Cut Pro?" Which was industry standard at the time. It's what all the uni had license for. And you know, so funny.
You don't know about that as well, no?
Yeah. Still use it.
Yeah. And so my dad just let me use his laptop, which had the license on it, and I learned Final Cut Pro. And he said that the lecturers were going on a course to teach people how to use Final Cut Pro. He said, "So I'm going to ask them if you can go on the course as well."
Wow.
So they gave my dad 50% off because I was like 15.
Yeah.
And I did a week course on how to train people to use Final Cut Pro. So it's not how to edit on Final Cut Pro, it's how to train people
Well, so
to
it's
edit.
more in depth, like...
Yeah,
you understand
it's
it.
like you can be a pro and then you can be training the pros. So
Yeah.
I went for that and I got the qualification to train people to
Nice.
and I got that at 15. So now I had that. I had
Wow.
an actual core qualification
At 15?
of editing. Yeah. But you see, this was my dad saying you've got to make it happen.
Hold on, give it... Wait.
Now.
No, yeah.
This was
At 15, you
yeah,
know.
15.
Come
Yeah,
on.
exactly, because time's running. You've got to make it happen now. So
Yeah.
I did that, and lo and behold, I mean, there's a Shakespeare quote which I really love, which whenever I do, so sometimes I get asked to do talks for like a university course, and the quote which I like to bring up
What
is...
play from?
It's I'm not sure what play it's from actually,
Well,
but Shakespeare. And it's "The readiness is all, let be."
Okay.
So readiness is all, let be. Do you know what that means?
Readiness is all, let be. Like, you just be ready and let everything else go. Like that's it. Readiness is what you need.
Ready is everything.
Yeah.
And then just just be.
Yeah.
You know, just wait.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Yeah.
So I've lived to that. Be ready. Be ready for opportunity. And I'd say to my parents, you know, it's so naive really, but it just seemed to happen. You know, law of attraction. You know, I'm not going to get a job because someone's going to knock on the door and give me an opportunity to go to London. That's just what I was like. There's no point learning how to drive because when I go to London, no one drives anyway. And that's what I was like. And my mum was like, please. My mum was concerned that, you know.
Do you know what, right? Your mum probably thought he was like the guy who, when you goes, "I want to be a thing," and he said, "I want to be a thing."
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I forgot what the words were.
Yeah.
You guys want to be a... What do you want to be?
I said naive. Just being
delusional.
just a bit delusional. Yeah. But so I mean, my mum had faith that I could do it. She just didn't want me to put all my eggs in one basket.
Of course.
But I put all my eggs in one basket and said this is going to happen.
Good.
And at 17 or 18, I think it was 18, a TV show, a Sky One sitcom, came to Weston-super-Mare.
Nice.
It was directed by Craig Cash. It was produced by Susie Liggett, who was a producer of some of the best episodes of David Tennant's Doctor Who.
Okay.
And I love that show. And like the cinematographer, like one of the best. Writing, the writer came from Western Superman, and that's why she wanted to
go back to Western Superman. Yeah.
So they did an open call. They went to the college, which I was doing a course at the time, a filmmaking course, and they said, we're looking for runners, and there's one paid role as an editor. Now, I already had my qualification to train people how to edit.
Yeah.
So the college just said, look, there's only one person who can do that, and they said, that's Corry. So, but also I was the hardest students. So
that's lovely. Hold on. We need an editor. There's only one man we can call. You don't know who it is. That's Corry. It's nice. That's an environment work for you. That's small town environment work for you in that respect.
Exactly.
And working to make sure it was there now.
Yeah.
Was like
exactly.
work.
Yeah. So but just crazy that like choices that I made as a teenager were now paying off. But, and I didn't even just knew that that's where I wanted to be. I didn't know that the opportunity was going to come. I couldn't have guessed that, that training, do this little thing in editing, and then someone will come along looking for an editor to train. So I got trained on that series. Spent the whole summer working for them, and had just the most amazing experience, and really learned how to make something professionally, not as in like let's all get together, we've got a camera, we've got a script, let's work out how this works. Literally how to run a set, how to schedule things, how to log footage, what coverage to get, all of these different things. And I got to sit there and observe it all, and I would chat to the cinematographer and ask him about tips for how to use my camera, and just literally just took his advice 100%. And yeah, that was a huge milestone. And then from that, I started to get a reputation as sort of the whiz kid.
Easy.
And someone
it's called the whiz kid.
It's called the whiz kid. The whiz kid can do it.
The whiz kid can do it. Wow.
Like a filmmaker came to me and said, I've got a problem. He said, I've got a boom mic in the background of the shot. And it was a radio mic. I've got a radio mic on the actor's shirt, and I need to get rid of it. How much can you do it for? And I was used to quoting 250 for everything, because for me, because I live from home, 4 times 250 is $1,000. You can.
You just get into you could work with it at the time. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't understand the value, and he went, "Oh, mate, thank God, I've been getting quotes for about 5-6 grand." And I was like, "God, if I'd said $1,000, he would have been happy."
Yeah.
But anyway, doesn't matter. But but I knew how to do it because of all of this experience, and just understanding that. Well, actually, if you have got a mic in the shot, there is a way to get rid of it. You can if you find the guys, if you can take a bit of flesh from another part of his skin and just copy and paste it on top.
Do you hear that?
That's what we did.
Sorry, Corry, to interrupt you. This episode now, for you to watch it, you're gonna have to pay £500. Remember, Mike, seriously. If you don't pay, you'll be subject to bailiffs or anything coming to your job. You do know who subscribes and who watches what we have playing it. Trust me. Now that's good to learn those little things. Well, skills like they help you through a lot. What I would say, what is your favourite movie? That's what I want to know. Like,
that's a difficult question.
Because you sitting down, because we analyse movies. Being people who like film, I like film. You like film. I analyse movies, but then I was also privileged to be a child at one point. So all that beauty, all that magic was there for me. And I don't believe, even though I know certain things are shit now, or they're not what I thought they were then, it still doesn't take away from the magic that movie gave me when I first watched it.
Yeah.
Like the Goonies and certain other movies, even though they're not the same right now. I know you all understand what I'm saying right now. You were getting a bit misty, I think. But like,
that's like, like the movie films.
Yeah, the films, because there's certain films I remember, like Christmas and all that, like The Sound of Music we'd have to watch. E.T. I remember BMX Bandits, I'm a lot older than you guys. E.T. What other movies you don't remember? So Indiana Jones. Oh my God, Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Home Alone still.
Home Alone. Come on, Home Alone. This is what I'm saying. So there was films. Even now, like how could a young a young man like that protect himself from 2 armed bandits. In this day and age, we're seeing people do the shit we know was real, but that film is epic to all of us. So not getting too like, because I just like we could be all day on movies. Like, you know, I love them. What movies do you love? And I'll ask you lot as well around the room. Like, there's big new ones as well.
What do I mean? I flip between my favourite all the time. I think the favourite at the moment is still The Social Network, which is the David Fincher film.
Okay, I know the film. I haven't seen it.
And that to me, you know, is my masterclass. You know, I study that film, and I go back to it all the time and study it and study how they did it. And then I suppose a side favourite film. Oh, I forgot what it was. I had it. It's so silly. It's the movie Signs with Mel Gibson. Signs.
That's an alien film, right?
Yes. Yeah. Aliens.
And it got films. Yeah.
And it got bad reviews, but I really love it.
Yeah, it drew you in.
I think it's brilliant. I think the pace of it, and I think the comedy. There's so much comedy in it.
Okay.
And apparently he was shooting it, he didn't even realise it was funny until he heard the dialogue, and then he went, oh, hold on, I'm making a comedy.
Yeah.
And that's what M. Night, I can't remember how to pronounce his name. You know M. Night Shyamalan.
No, who's that? Who's it? That director?
Yeah, that director.
No, see, like, I don't know what movie.
Great director, he's the guy who did Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense was good.
That's a great film.
I'm not good with certain people's names. Even people are like, I'm good with you guys. But certain people, I know them even enough. I mess up their names. So I'm names, but
my brother is also a film buff. He like knows his films really well, and he kind of cringes at my favourite films because his favourite films are really highbrow. Like he'll say, this French film or Pedro Almodovar film.
See, because when you just said that, just in my head, I'm seeing the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah,
that's something that's got good bits, that's dark bits, but then you've got the comedies like Intouchables as well from over there. You've got other films which I wouldn't want to say that I know, but it's like, is it film noir? From that is from over there that I've watched films, but like I said, I'm not good with names, but that have just been so engrossing, even in the language that I don't speak. I'm just like, yeah.
It just shows film. You know, some people, audiences have apparently forever have like poo-pooed films that are foreign language, and now they're sort of awakening to the fact that actually film language is its own language. The dialogue is not the film. The film language is when you put everything together. You know, when you put the cinematography, when you put the music, when you put the performance, all these things together is film language. So you know, like Squid Game. I finished Squid Game the other day.
Movie. I mean, good series.
Unbelievable series.
Good series. Go on.
It's universal though. You don't need to be South Korean to get the film, right?
Yeah.
You got it. It made sense, didn't it?
Yeah.
You don't watch it and go, oh, this is completely alien.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the thing. I think the power of the non-Hollywood movies, like what you were saying, the film noir, the European films, these Korean films as well. Because I think there's a Korean film,
Parasite, amazing film.
But when I say they, I mean everywhere outside of Hollywood do make some great movies, but everywhere outside of Hollywood do things. They go in and they do it properly, almost like the way I was massaging the steak. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like they want every single bit of seasoning to be in there. So they want the right shots, the right energy, the right light, just the right story, the right darkness within the character before they come up, the right amount of silence. Some scenes have got so much just silence, but they're screaming out loud in some of these films. It's just like, it's just fantastic, and you couldn't do it if you never had the power on the screen. I want to just say one that I know is generic, but Daniel Day-Lewis, but he could have a scene that he's totally quiet, but it screams. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some of these noir films where, like the Squid Games, like you said, you could turn off the volume and still get it. Like certain things, you still get certain scenes, and you feel the energy from it. It's nuts.
Exactly.
It's nuts. Yeah. Love it.
I was quite surprised that I like films with subtitles as well.
Yeah.
Because you would think that you wouldn't be able to take in the film and the writing
at the same time.
At the same time. But like Apocalypto, you guys both...
I haven't seen that, but Mel Gibson.
See, that's another one, because the level of everything that's in there, the cinematography, the action that's happening, the way they're acting, you could literally sometimes turn the subtitles off and still feel the movie. It's so intense. The shots is shot so well. That's a serious film.
Yeah.
Like you feel that film. Sorry, I get so excited about film. You feel that film from beginning to end. Apocalypse. It's very dark. It's very dark though. It's very dark, but I don't like horrors, but I watched that more than once.
Yeah,
it's a good fucking film, man.
I need to see that.
Yeah, it's a
I've
good
always
movie.
wanted to watch that.
It's a good
I haven't
movie.
got around to watching it still.
If you could have made a film, I'm asking for you, if you could have made a film that's gone past already, like what film would you have loved to have made?
Casino Royale.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
He looks a bit like Daniel Craig to me. mate. I'm just there, bro. I mean, you guys tell me at home, mate. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I think you got a bit of Daniel Craig in your story. Yeah, I think so. What do you think, Wizard?
Yeah,
A
definitely.
little bit. That's what I'm going to say, isn't it? Go on.
Alright, I'll take that.
Why Casino Royale?
Oh, just the cinema experience. Actually, I'd say, Casino Royale and Social Network are my favourite films. The as you were saying about the experience, when you watch something and you know, the experience, you relive the experience when you watch it. When watching that for the first time was mind-blowing. Because it took my naive young expectations of what a Bond film was and took me somewhere else. Like when it's black and white at the beginning, I went, oh, is the projector broken? You know, I was that. Yeah. Because I was just I was just a kid.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, I went, and then when he shoots and it goes into colour, I went, wow, that was clever. That just that creative thinking to go, here's the format of Bond, let's remix it.
Yeah.
We know that it's going to open on the chute down the barrel.
Yeah.
So let's tease the audience because they broke the format of all other Bond films.
Yeah. They did it on purpose, though.
And they did it on purpose.
It was good to me.
You never heard the Bond theme until the very, very end when he says, the name's Bond, James Bond. I went, it's just unbelievable because I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see it coming. And it's just such a great film.
Yeah.
So if I would have loved to have made that just simply because it looks so fun. You know, you got the gadgets. Well, actually, there's not many gadgets in that film. You got the cars.
That is the one where we had to resuscitate yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
That scene for me was crazy.
That's a great scene.
That was crazy, and he had to eat. I learned something from that.
Yeah.
You know, I think he realizes he gets poisoned, but he has to actually drink salt water.
Yeah,
and that makes you. I didn't know that makes you make yourself sick. So I learned something.
Yeah, it's really clever.
Even that intensity in that scene where he comes from and he goes in the car and all that, I've never seen that in Bond before. Like, I've seen all the Bonds. I would have to say, all the Bonds.
Same.
Yeah.
It's just as I said, just defied what you were expecting from a Bond film, and they still haven't. I mean, some people argue that Skyfall is the best, like Daniel Craig Bond film, but I don't think you can top. It's good. It's really good, but I don't think you can top Casino Royale because you can't top the first time you broke the format. The debut of this new vision of how to do it. So I don't know what they'll do next. Whether they'll try and reinvent it again. But I don't think they can reinvent. Well, I mean, there's a will, there's a way. I'm sure they can. I'm sure they
Money
can.
behind it, they will.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
Do you know what? My go-to film is always Lock, Stock and Snatch.
I
feel like they are kind of like standalone films from everything. If you ask me, I just like the British comedy, the Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, there is nothing quite like those films.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I do like those two films as well. I mean, Guy Ritchie's style.
Yeah.
There's a few films of his that I like his style. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
Definitely. But this thing that just stick out in my mind right now. Like,
the dogs.
You like dogs? You like dogs? No, the two for me. The two for me is like, and I nearly said it to someone the other day. I swear, word of a lie. Like, if the milk turns sour, I'm not the kind of drink. Because they were trying to mug me off, like, and I swear, like, those lines actually, if that's Blackwood, like, no perspective, like, and Guy Ritchie film, I swear, I was thinking those lines the other day, because it's like, like we was talking about when we was coming here, when I met you, about the cases that's going on and stuff, and the case that's going on, my case that's going on.
I'm sorry.
That's the milk turning sour. So I was going to say, if the milk turns sour, I'm not the kind of pussy to drink it. You know what I mean? I'm not drinking that milk. He needs to change the milk and bring me something else. But
I've got something for you about that as well. Do you like Dave Chappelle?
Of course we do.
I love Dave Chappelle.
Of course we do.
Have you heard when he talks about the mileage on a hoe?
No, the mileage on a hoe. No,
do you know what mileage?
I know what mileage on a hoe means. Yeah.
Well, it just made. He talked about it. It's made me rethink a lot of different things, which is they work out the mileage. So anyone who doesn't know, they work out the mileage of how long a hoe is going to take before they snap.
Yeah.
And Dave Chappelle's lesson at the end of the speech is we're the hoes. We're in any, unfortunately, to a degree.
Do you know what I just said? You know, like, wow, Corry, where's by the camera? Shit.
You're going through.
I'm a motherfucking hoe. I'm a hoe. Yeah, I'm a hoe.
You're at the end of your mileage. And the lesson of Dave Chappelle.
Wow!
Yeah.
God, keep talking.
What Dave Chappelle talks about is how this pimp isn't ready to let this hoe go because she's at the end of her mileage.
Yeah.
So, I'm preaching to the converted. Have you heard this story?
Sorry?
Have you heard it? Have you heard this story?
No, but you don't understand what's going on. But you keep killing me with laughter. But yeah, I'm the hoe.
So basically,
I need to go watch his Dave Chappelle. He
describes it so much better, but I'll do a cold version.
No, you've done enough. I'm sorry, I'm going to let you get into it, right? I'm going to let you get into it, but I swear to God. And you were saying it, I'm thinking my own
I was seeing your face.
I was thinking, you're talking about, prostitutes, and then when they've had enough, or when they can't be prostitutes anymore. But when you said you're the hoe or we're the hoes, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God, tell the story.
Because so basically, he wasn't ready. So this pimp had a hoe at the end of her mileage, right? Yeah. And he was his favourite, right? Sorry to break it to you like this.
It's alright.
I've been thinking about this loads. My mind's blown as well.
Yeah.
I only saw this the other day and it's been going through my mind loads.
Yeah, but I know most of the time, I'm not the kind of person that's going to drink it. I'm not interrupting you one more time, I'm so sorry. Go on.
So he goes, so this pimp, he needs to keep the hoe. He doesn't want her to leave. But she says, I ain't doing it anymore. I'm not interested. I don't want to do it anymore. And he says, fine. He says, so things can end amicably. I need you to do one more. I need one more client. He says, he's upstairs in a hotel room now. I want you to slip this into his drink. And he's got a suitcase under the bed with money. And I want you to give that to me. And I'll give you some of that money. And then we'll call it quits. She says, fine. Anyway, a couple of hours pass. She comes down in a state and says, I gave him the thing and he's not waking up. And he goes, how much did you give him? She says, the whole packet. And she goes, what? You gave him the whole packet of this thing that I told you to drop in his drink? She goes, yeah. And he goes, oh my God. So they go to the hotel room and he feels his pulse and she's killed him. He says, you've killed him. You gave him too much. He's dead. She's breaking down, crying, going, no. What are we going to do? And he goes, no, what are you going to do? He said, I told you to do this, and this. You're the one that killed him. He says, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do you a favour. He brings some people, he says, but I'm going to owe these people now. So you and I need to discuss things after. She says, fine, please just do whatever you want. So he rings some removal men who wrap the guy up in a, what's it called? In
blanket or bedding or something. Carpet.
Yeah.
Rug.
Carpet, thank you, rug. And they take him away. And he says, look, he says, we can't go our separate ways. We got to stick together. He says, I can't, you can't stay, but you need to work off your debt to me. She says, yes, I'll do anything. So he gets a lot more mileage now. Basically what he reveals in this book, because he's written the book, this pimp, the guy wasn't dead. It was a mate of his pretending to be dead. The money was his in the suitcase. And the two guys, the removal men, were actually genuine removal men who did a favour for him because he was actually moving house at the same time.
Motherfucker.
So we're the hoes in that if ever you try and get out of something that you don't want to do, you watch how they spin things and try to tell you that you now owe them something. Or if they're not ready for you to go, they will try and pull, like your thing when I was saying about, well, can't you just who are you dealing with? And you said, and I said, oh, you're dealing with suits, because they're going to try and trick you into giving up.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah. Happens all the time. I've,
So I'm the hoe, like you said.
You're the hoe, yeah. And we're all the hoes. We're all the hoes. When we've got a master, we've got an employer, or we've got someone.
Hoes.
Yeah.
In different area codes. Sorry. No, guys, keep talking. We're all the hoes if really got master. You said.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're the hoes. Wow. So just remember that. Just be conscious of: is this a trick? Because
what about be conscious of, is the payoff or the whatever it is worth deviating from the path of whatever you actually want as a human being? That's what I think, more so, not to think, just to add on that as well, because we'll be getting, like you said, the hoe wants to leave and then they'll put things in the way for them not to leave, or you might personally put things in the way for you not to leave, like mentally.
Yes, exactly.
And then, but you still know you want to get to the whatever it is. You want to be a painter, you want to be a runner, you want to be a writer, whatever. But you have to take that leap of faith. If you don't take that leap of faith, you're not going to get there, or break for that wall, you're not going to get there. But that's the same thing. It's just on the edge of the cliff. This shit's pulling you back. Like whatever the things are, it could be a safety net, it could be this. Don't leave the kids. Don't leave this. You got to fill the glass before you go. But whatever it is, you got to break that off and make the jump.
Yes.
Yeah. So in my long-winded, kind of confusing philosophical way, I'm saying take the leap, make the leap, do what you need to do, and when you do it, now.
Yes. Exactly.
Now.
Yeah.
Now.
Don't be the hoe.
Don't be the hoe. And don't be the hoe.
But it means don't be a fool.
That's better. Don't be a fool.
Don't be a fool. Like just step aside and just be like, why is this person saying this to me? What do they want? What do I want? Who is benefiting from the advice that they're giving me?
Wow.
That goes across the board for so many.
Exactly.
Say again. Who's this person saying it to me?
Yeah, just
what do they want?
Just so I have to because I've been a sucker so many times.
As everybody probably has.
Yeah,
I have been as well, but everybody has.
Because I can be too trusting.
Yeah.
But now what I've had to learn is you have to listen and look at things and tune into the voice in your head that is critical and go, who is this person? What do they want? What do I want? What is the advice? Who benefits from the advice they are giving me? That's the problem.
I like that. I'm going to get you on the life. But
I know people who have a Western Supermare story. Someone who I know of was getting into a taxi in Bristol, I think. Getting into a taxi in Bristol, and a guy dragged him out of the taxi and started beating him up. So he beat him back up. Yeah. He actually was a guy who played rugby, overpowered the other guy, got in the car, drove off, right? That guy who assaulted the person who I know took him to court.
He tried to nick his car and then took him to court?
Yes. Yeah. And said that he was assaulted. So the guy is innocent, right? He's obviously innocent. And the lawyer that they employed said, look, just say guilty. They said they're not going to throw the book at you. You're not going to get in trouble. Don't waste their time. Just say, look, I'm guilty. And he says, but I'm innocent. The guy attacked me first. He said, I know, but just worst thing you'll get is some community service. They sent him to prison. Now, the lawyer who advised that got a promotion because he managed to stop it going to trial, which would have cost money, which is often the agenda. So if he'd stuck to his truth and said, no, I am innocent, I will take this to court, I will shout it until I'm blue in the face, then he would have stood a better chance. But he took someone's advice, and if he should have thought, who is this person? What do they really want? Am I the hoe? And he was the hoe.
Am I the hoe?
He was the hoe, and he was the pimp.
Funny, am I the hoe?
It happens to me with clients,
Wow.
Clients will ask for something, and they'll ask for the world, and they'll try and trick you into thinking you owe them it, and you have to go, hold on, I'm the hoe in this situation. Do you see what I mean?
Have you got the line? Don't be a fool. Could you just repeat the first thing you said? What was it? What was the three things? Do you remember what it was? Was it don't be fooled? Do you remember how you said it? Because we're gonna just for a live, just for a feed, like.
Okay.
Do you remember what it was before you go?
Yeah. I think so. I think I can redo it.
Okay, cool. So whack the live on then, please. Have you got words of wisdom for us, please.
Yeah.
Corry.
So the wisdom is when seeking counsel, when seeking someone's advice over something serious, or if someone has come to you asking for something and they're advising you what to do in the situation, tune into that voice that is critical and really think, who is this person? What do they want? What do I want? Where is this conflicting? And who will benefit from their advice or from the narrative that they're trying to spin on me? Because what you'll find is, you know, people have their own needs and their own wants, and they will use you to get that.
You'll be
so you have
hole.
to be careful, and you'll end up a fool. You know, you'll just end up that person who just says yes to everything and doesn't think about it. And you know, I've been a yes person in my life. You know, and I still have to be conscious that, am I just saying yes? Is this serving me in any way? You know, because it can be mutual, but if it's entirely serving the other person, then you just become a slave. You know, that's the truth.
It's not nice. You can cut that. That's it. That's the advice right there. That's the one. Because I think
that's my key advice
as well. Yeah. So we're running out of time slightly, not totally, but someone's coming. Just to let you know. What do you think about the changes? Like, this is a question I want to ask you, but I can't remember how I wanted to formulate it. But the best way I can get back to it and try and remember it is the new Batman now. Right, what do you think about the new? Okay, that was it. What do you think of the new Batman? I haven't seen Doctor Strange. I haven't seen Doctor Strange yet. I've seen Batman.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? And for you as well, Wizard. I want to know what you think about that. The new actor they brought in, the whole franchise of Batman.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was genius.
But then they brought that guy. I didn't. For me, and sorry, I talk a lot anyway. But yeah, for me, it was. I didn't realize the guy was from Twilight.
Robert Pattinson,
Yeah, and prior to that, I've known who the Batmans were within the acting world. Do you know what I mean? Like Ben Affleck, Keaton.
But you didn't know about Robert Pattinson?
No, I didn't know about Robert Pattinson because I'm not that in tune anymore. But even when he was on, it's like I was more interested in the Batman film because of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and because everything's been changed so rapidly, that who Batman actually wasn't the primary thing for me. What was the story they were telling about Batman? So it was almost going into the whole that noir kind of film stuff and that kind of stuff where I forgot about but it didn't matter who Batman was to me, and I didn't know who Batman was, but I know Batman's story, and is this true to Batman's story, and am I enjoying this rendition of Batman's story, this part that they're bringing in and the way they're doing it and the new nuances and all that, like almost like the whole Casino Royale thing, because each movie they make, whenever they change and they want to upgrade it, they want to break the mold from the last movie. Whether they say it or not, they want to be groundbreaking to the movie prior to it, especially with these franchises. So there was them changing the Batman is them trying to break the thing, change things anyway. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I'm going on. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. What did you think about the movie we're going to?
I loved it. I thought it was genius. I thought it was really good. I think it was the only I think I'm right in saying this. I think it was the only Batman that was actually interested in Batman. Do you know what I mean? Every other Batman movie, the character of the villain is always, in all the ones before Christopher Nolan took over, in all the ones before, the villain is the most interesting character, and Batman is just Batman doesn't want anything other than to stop the villain. The villain is the character who's the most interesting because they actually want something, right? So you've got Jack Nicholson playing the Joker. His name was billed first. It was more an origin story for the Joker, that first Batman film, and Batman's just the character trying to stop him, right? So Batman doesn't really have an arc. He doesn't really change. He's just the hero trying to stop the villain, a bit like Bond before Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
It's just a hero trying to stop them. Then Batman Begins is more interested in Christian Bale. More interested in what's the alter ego? Bruce Wayne. More interested in Bruce Wayne, which is fair enough. But that's the first one. Then the second one is interested in the Joker. He's the best character.
Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight, and all the supporting characters. So it's more of an ensemble piece because all of these different characters are all interlocking and moving through this complicated story. But this one, the Batman, is the only one that I think is really interested in an arc for Batman. Because I keep thinking about it. It starts with where he says, "I am vengeance." Spoiler alert. The spoilers.
It's too late. It's not to say spoiler before you do the spoiler. But I think most people should have seen it by now.
If you haven't seen it,
if you ain't seen it, I am vengeance.
Yeah. But he says that at the top, right? He says, "Who are you? I'm vengeance."
Yeah.
Right?
God, I'm letting you talk. I don't interrupt. Sorry.
But
don't get excited.
that's what the Riddler says. Do you remember? And his face when he hears that, and when he thinks he thinks that the Riddler's trying to attack Batman, and then the Riddler thinks that him and Batman are equals and allies, and Batman suddenly goes, "Oh no, I've been doing this all wrong. It's not hate. It's not about hate. It's not about vengeance. It's about servicing others. That's why I need to do what I do." So he's got a flaw in it, and
there's some subtext going on over
there. Yeah. See, I watched it as the screenwriter, and I went, "Fuck, that's really clever."
Yeah, I've only seen it once, but I want to see it.
Watch it again. His arc is someone who is angry, who wants vengeance,
I get it.
who wants to beat the shit out of people.
Yeah.
What he realizes is that no, I can't. That's not who I am. I need to be a hero. Do you remember that's that bit where he lights the thing and he's there and he's servicing others and he cuts that rope and crashes.
When he goes into the video, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. But that's what it's about.
That's when the penny drops for him.
Yeah,
and it changes.
And he changes, and he has an arc because he's let go of a lot of his hate because he realizes that hate is counterproductive to his mission.
Have you seen it?
Wow, no, I haven't.
You haven't seen it? Sorry, are you fucking? You see, look.
Shit!
I'm so sorry, wizard.
But to be fair, probably all the things I talked about, you won't really, because that's not the plot. That's sort of the underlying subtext.
It was good. It was good. But then, do you think that's like now in this modern day as well? Because it's like I was talking about how film affected me when I was young and stuff. It was all right. It was all good for us to watch The Wizard of Oz from this side of the curtain. In this day and age now, everybody wants to see what's behind the curtain, because we're no longer bemused or we don't believe it no more. We know that is just Batman wasn't just Batman from nowhere basically, and the Joker wasn't just a Joker going for the Joaquin Phoenix film as well. So we're interested, and even this what we're doing right now. I mean, you're not just Corry, I'm not just Io. There's a life story behind you. You're not just a wizard. There's a life story behind how you got to this point. And that is more interesting to people now, as in opposed to the person who's in front of them right now. How did you get to this person? Do you know what I mean? And we're more in tune to that nowadays. Do you like?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think studios are waking up that people want to invest in the characters and invest in the story, as opposed to just, because all of the background and all of that is the story, right? Not the plot, and not that the Riddler's going to blow up this or the Joker's about to destroy this and here's a big special effect. Because now that the audience know that you can do anything, you're no longer going to wow them. The only way you can wow them is with a story that means something to them, and the Batman taps into that because it actually tells a story. Whereas if you watch, like, do you remember Batman Returns?
Yeah, that's the old shiny glossy ones they are.
The second Tim Burton Batman film.
Is that with Mr. Freeze in it?
No, that's the Penguin and
Batman Forever. Okay.
That's Batman and Robin.
Penguin and Catwoman's in that.
Penguin and Catwoman, do you remember?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I remember it. And Danny DeVito.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And do you remember Tim Burton didn't come back to do a third one?
Okay.
And then they did Batman Forever with Joel Schumacher directing it.
Okay, that was a Mr. Freeze one.
No, that's the Mr. Freeze one is the sequel to Batman Forever.
Okay.
Do you remember with Jim Carrey as the Riddler?
Yeah, I remember Jim Carrey's. Yes. Okay,
that one.
Really going in. So the one that Tim Burton came back and done, is that when Robin is introduced?
Yes, the one where Robin's introduced.
I've seen all of them so many times. Yeah. He does get a mishmash for me, but go on.
That one's completely shallow. There's nothing about it. There's just nothing about it.
That's Poison Ivy one.
The sequel to that one is the Poison Ivy one.
Yeah,
but that one's even more shallow. That one's even more shallow. But there's nothing that one's. Those two are just adverts for toys.
It's almost like the TV series.
Yeah, just the pantomime of the TV series. Yeah, exactly. But we're done with that. We don't need to see these villains, like I can imagine 20 years ago, it was exciting to see the characters adapted from a comic book. Now we've seen it so many times. It doesn't wow us anymore. We go, oh, look, there's
Do you know what
Michael
it is?
Keaton back in the Batman suit.
Yeah.
Just tell us a good story, you know.
It's you know what it is, right? And I thought about when you said the wow factor. We no longer want the wow factor. We, as even the youngsters, as audiences, we've matured. So it's like, but we're still kids in a sense. We don't want the wow. We want the why and the how. And it's like it's not good enough for me to tell me that guy is like. Let's just even go to the social media stuff that Kim Kardashian is this, that, the third. How did she get there? Why is she there? You want to know why and how, because a lot of people either want to do it or understand it like that. So we've matured, and if you can tell us why and how, it's no longer interesting. So I think that's what it is like.
But you can see the same thing in paintings, right? You know how art, as it transitioned to modern art, you know, like Picasso and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not really that I don't know that, not that well knowledged. So I know about art though. But I'm just saying. But I know about Picasso and
So you know how paintings used to be photorealistic, right? It used to look real, right? You'd look at a painting, you go, oh fuck, that really looks like real life. Then when the photograph was invented, you don't need art to look like reality anymore, because it's not impressive anymore, because a photo can capture that. So art becomes more abstract, and there's more emphasis on interpreting the art, because now it's not about the skill of the artist, it's about the vision of the artist, and about trying to show you something that gets you thinking. So now, you know, because of special effects, because of you know, the advancements in costume design and makeup, that you can make did you ever watch Watchmen?
Yeah,
you know, did you read the comic as well?
No.
Oh, okay.
That thing with the face?
Yes. The director Zack Snyder did shot for shot recreations from the comic book, but it's not impressive, because we know they can do that. We know it's not difficult, because we know that you can do anything. So we don't look at it and go, wow, that looks just like the comic. We just go, all right, well, what else? Can you tell me a story instead, please? So in the same way, we're craving things that are deeper, because once the magic trick has been revealed, this is what you're saying about people, you know, it's like the magician's trick has been revealed. So now we don't want to see a magic trick. We want the magician to start telling us a story that actually engages us, you know. That's how I see it.
That's how it is, I think, as well. It's like it's just going on. I think I'm coming. Go on. I'm going to ask you if you want to
Has a film made either of you cry or feel, you know, that?
Go on. I've got two, but go on.
Has a film made me cry?
Well, if film made you like to get teary or misty.
Everything.
Seriously,
everything. Up's the biggest. I was in a pool of tears.
Seriously?
Yeah. Still now, if I watch the beginning of Up.
It's a cartoon, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the story
I'm just asking,
and the characters.
I'm going to go watch it.
Yeah. It's one of the Disney ones. Yes. First 10 minutes had me bawling, and still now, as a joke, I go, well, I'm not going to cry this time, and my whole family watched me.
Wow.
What did I cry at? My girlfriend was laughing at me, but just
everything.
Because, you know, I get really involved in it. You know, I fully invest in if it's good, I fully invest in it, and I'll do that, and my girlfriend will laugh. But Up's the biggest tearjerker. Up's the biggest. It's just like, watch the first 10 minutes. It's like a little short film within the story, and it takes you on an arc that's just so powerful.
I want to watch it.
It's really good. It's beautiful.
I think my ones is just, I'm more of a people's kind of like, well, I'll just tell you what the films are, basically. The Colour Purple. And, at the very end, when her kids come back, because she loses her kids and everything, and her kids come back, and because she goes through so much. Like, I don't know if you've read the book or seen. I've read the book and seen the film. It's a lot.
It's Spielberg, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think there's abuse in it, and her two children get taken away from her, and it's just like, it's way back in. I'm not sure what year it was made, but it was almost like slavery, what she had to endure from her husband and everything that went on.
It was made in the 90s, wasn't it, or something like that?
The year was made.
Whoopi Goldberg?
No. Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah Winfrey,
Winfrey's film,
Danny Glover.
I've only recently learned about it. I bought a book about Spielberg and it was on there. I was like, I didn't know he made this film.
Yeah. Anyway, that made me. I was like, I was crying at the end of that. Like, I had a bit. Couldn't hold him back at the end of that. And then I think the Gridiron Gang with The Rock. I don't know if you don't know this film. It's crazy, and it's just one of them.
It's a film with The Rock.
Yeah, with Dwayne Rock Johnson. It's just like. It's about a lot of these guys that go into a board stall, like they get arrested young and have to go through like it's almost like juvenile, but they've all got these things that like life has thrown at them, which is like not unlike what I spoke to some people on the show, like just different things that life have thrown at them, like hardships, and they've got in trouble and their life's on the edge. But it's like their journey and them kind of the winning factor. You know, like the film where someone wins at the end. It's kind of a real hero thing. Yeah, but it's just. The way it goes, I was just rooting for them. I think exhibits in it as well. Yeah. It's just I don't know why it made me like think, but at the end, like I was like, yeah.
What's it called again?
Gridiron Gang.
Gridiron Gang. I've never heard of it.
And it's just like they didn't need to win. And it's like gang culture in it and all that. They didn't need to win the thing. They just needed to overcome whatever obstacles in life. Maybe I related with it. I don't know what it was, but it was just like, yeah. In answer to your question, Wizard, those are the two films that I think that have made me like lose some like leakage. I had some leakage. You know what I mean? I had a little bit of leakage, but yeah.
Leaky tap.
Yeah.
Powerful, man. That's the power of film, though.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Have you got any questions for me or for the Wizard before we wrap up, sir? I'd love to know. I mean, I want to talk to you more, but like I can't talk to you for hours and hours. But I know there's stuff I need to get out of you. But we've been here for a bit. We've got some other filming to do today. But I've got questions to ask you. I'm just gonna like. There's so much questions to ask you, Corey. Like, let me see my phone because the other guy's coming. That's what my problem is. Like,
I see.
In my head, I could be still answering the questions, but I'm rushing. And let me not rush because I won't get the opportunity to get you want to.
What did you want to? What was the other thing you wanted to ask?
Tell me about, this is something my son likes to say to me all the time. My 13-year-old son, he's such a muppet, but like, because he just says it out of the blue, like, he's like, tell me about your love life. So how's your love life? He's like, so how's the kids? Like, he's such a joker, but yeah, in ode to you, Lacan.
My love life. I think like the first time we saw each other in ages, I said, I've met someone and I'm madly in love with them. Do you remember I said that? Something like that, yes. That's 3.5 years we've been together now.
Wow.
So Zara and I,
Wow, that's nice.
We lived together, got a really nice flat together, lived together we lived together from day one, really. So I'd say about 3 years we've lived together, but we've lived in this new flat for a year and 2 months.
Okay.
And we're each other's rocks, which is nice. Biggest supporters.
I might start crying now, man.
She's an actress.
Oh wow, nice.
So
nice combination.
It's a really nice combination. She's really talented.
Yeah.
And we work on, and I cast her and stuff all the time.
Of course.
So
better, mate.
Yeah. You're in trouble.
Did you guys meet on the job?
I met. I was an assistant to a director who was directing her.
Oh.
Okay. And she knew I liked her because I was doing the lighting. And I spent too much time lighting her and showing off. So she knew I fancied her, and I asked for her Twitter at the end of the shoot, and she kind of let me know that was okay.
Nice.
Gave me a signal to say you can ask my Twitter.
Yeah, nice.
And I was like, in hindsight, I was like, did you know I was asking? She was like, yes, I knew you were going to ask me out as soon as you got the Twitter. And it was cool.
Oh, that's nice.
So then we went out the following week, and we've been seeing each other non-stop ever since. 3.5 years of non-stop seeing each other. I'm still not sick of her.
Oh, that's good.
She might be sick of me, but
that's nice.
Well done,
I'm happy. I'm happy for you. And considering that we had the discussions we had, Zara, you said
Zara.
Yeah. Unless Corey tells you, I would never tell. The discussions we had, but I'm glad everything's worked out nicely for you, man.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to ask me, Corey, before we wrap up?
Yeah, I suppose so. What we were talking about ambition and drive and I suppose because we met, I met you in what I assume is your element, which is acting. And you met me in my element, which is filmmaking. That we just accepted each other as filmmaker and actor. but I've never really asked you about what do you want out of life? What is acting the main goal? Would you be interested in just getting involved in every part of it? Because I'm interested in. I mean, I've always wanted to be a film director, but I do dabble in all the departments because I'm just so interested in film.
Okay.
So would you direct one day? What's your path? What are you working towards at the moment?
That's a nice question, you know. Do you know what I like? I just enjoy performing. So at the moment, I've got a poetry compilation that I've put together. I'm going to release. I've just recently taken a look at it, and I'm thinking, do I want to put more poetry in that kind of thing? I'm a perfectionist as well. Performing is what I enjoy the most. Performing and interacting with people and kind of helping people out. You know, so I see myself, or the goal is to be able to release the energy that I have within myself to help people with that energy. In the release of that energy, I'm enjoying life, so that's me living life to the fullest, and create a legacy of of good relationships like I have with you and other people, the Wizard and other people. Just create those relationships, and whatever comes out of them, I'm happy with. Like I've done a couple of films. I love acting and stuff, but if I never acted again, but everything else I've done succeeded, I won't give a shit. I really wouldn't care, seriously, and that's the truth. If I could be in a room where everyone around me, including, look at this guy over here who's just waking up. He's looking, what are you doing over there, Joe? Where'd he go, Joe? He's coffee. He's coffee. If I'm in even right now, where I am right now, to me, it's achieving what I want to achieve. So it's just being able to do this on a perpetual basis, like facilitating conversations like this, maybe coming on set with you certain times, maybe coming and getting involved with what Joe's doing certain times, getting involved, which I do with the Wizard and the rest of the crew on a regular basis, and having intellectual, enjoying, positive conversations with people. Because one day I'm gonna die, like everybody. But how I live between now and then is up to me, and it can be so fucking wonderful and unbelievable that why not make it that? And it's like, I'm understanding myself more now. So what I want is for the people that I love to be okay. And if they're not, to be able to have the tools to help them to be okay. And that doesn't mean just finances and stuff. It also means the intellect, the wisdom, the time. The emotional, do you know what I mean? Like, all of that. You know, even the compassion and the empathy. Because too often than not, sometimes people that we love fall between the cracks because we haven't got the eyes or the foresight to see that they need help, and then also to get out of whatever things that may have happened between you and them prior to that to actually help them. So all of that, and then still to be able to put my feet up and have fun in the sun, you know. But if I do all of that, I believe that everyone around me will be fine. I want my kids to thrive, which they're doing already, and just to be nice. And it's like, when I go, just to go, innit? That's space just to go. But I'd love to also make this movie, that movie, that. But as being an actor, I believe I act in every single minute and second of my day. That's how I feel. And sometimes the acts are good, and sometimes the acts are bad. I want more good acts than bad acts. I don't want to be negative, even being a human being, as much as I cannot be negative. And it's a hard thing, not to be upset with people when they shake their head or tell certain people to fuck off, or, you know, to get upset, envious and all that. That's what I really want. And getting that, I'm happy, man. I'm happy right now, like I told you. In the long, I've never been asked this question. It's a nice question to be asked.
Oh, really?
Nah, for real. And to me, it's not like, I'd love to get a Ferrari and drive here and drive there, but it's not the be-all and end-all. The be-all and end-all is for me to be able to be in a room with people that I love and be able to talk to them. Like, whatever way, get to Miami and have a laugh with him. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't matter whether I just made the last blockbuster film. Me sitting down and sipping a pina colada with him and just shooting the shit would be amazing. Do you know what I mean? Me being on set with you, like, we're making a film and I was just saying, oh wow, can't believe we made it. Yeah, fucking amazing. Me doing stuff with you, it's the same thing for me across the board. It's like, it's very simple thing for me to be happy. But then all the other things I think will be byproducts of that. Like, they will come in. So I believe, also I believe that I'm such a great entity. I'm not being arrogant or whatever, that when I do those things I want to do, the byproduct of that will be, okay, I get to make this film, I get to do this and I get to do that. Because that's what I want. Like, when you say, when you proclaim stuff, I want to help. I want to be good. I want to be a role model. I want to show people certain things. Maybe playgate people going through the mistakes I made, or maybe let them understand that, cool, it's fine to make mistakes. You see it across the internet all the time, but no, it's really fine to make mistaktes. Do you get what I'm saying? Live your fucking life.
Yeah.
Seriously. Don't forget if it's, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you ain't got that, you're alive. Please believe, whatever you see now is going to be gone in a second. You'll be seeing something else. Like, if I can help people believe that stuff, oh man, hallelujah, I'm good. I'm good and I'm happy. And also just a regular nice plate of food. And then
Yeah.
if you don't want to eat it.
Yeah, that's important as well.
That's me.
It sounds like you know what you want, and it sounds like you've got your priorities right as well. I think that when I've asked people that question before, people who are generally quite unhappy can be either hard to pinpoint what they want, or want something but don't understand why they want it. But what you described there, you listed kind of an overview of what you want and what that means to you, and why you want what you want. And also, like, sounds like you've got your priorities right, which is good. Recipe for someone who's sane, right? Someone who's healthy.
I love that. But in retrospect to what you're saying now, I've still got to fight myself. That's for you lot out there as well. I've still got to fight Io to get those things, because I'm still the obstacle in between me and those things certain times, you know what I mean?
Totally.
I just got to punch myself in the mouth and get through. Like.
There's different, I think there's different levels of consciousness, and there's levels where it's almost like I feel like that we're piloting. I feel like there's something higher piloting me, and I'm fighting the thing that I'm trying to move through to get what I want. And that can be so many different things, but I mean, you know, we're human beings, and we're moving through we're acting through human beings, so we have to deal with human being shit, basically.
Oh, what was the bloody quote? Because I was reading some like Marcus Willis the other day, and it's just like we're pilots, and we're carrying a corpse. Our souls are something.
Yeah, exactly. We're carrying a corpse. Kind of thing. Exactly. We're carrying this fleshy thing and this fleshy brain. And we're acting through it.
So much more than that. Wow. I'm gonna have to say this is Life Talks, Io Fawole. Corry, give me some. It was such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Likewise. I'm so glad I finally did it. Been chasing me. You got me.
What did I get you now?
Exactly.
No, I'm sorry, you can't have him back though. I'm gonna keep him. Come on.
Thank you. It's been great. Great opportunity. Thank you.
No, thank you for coming, man. I'm going to go back and watch this as well. Thank you for that last question. Thank you. There's stuff in, I just know, let me not even, cool, I don't need to polish up anymore. You lot enjoy the episode, like, subscribe, and share. Life Talks. Don't forget the wizard and the voice behind the camera. When you going to do it? Now. Come on. Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah,